like-minded people that are working together for a common goal. And one of the areas of interest in our community was the wellness segment. So we rolled up a new entity and we called it FEDC WellStart.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I bet you're wondering how I made that. Well, that's a pretty easy answer. I made several things just like this in my internship at Jumpstart Digital. What else did I do in this internship? Well, that's also pretty easy.
This is DaVinci Resolve 17. This is the free version of the bigger and better studio version. This substitute worked for the most part in place of Premiere, but most of my time was actually trying to figure out how to use this professional quality editing platform. Like, having something as simple as a green screen is pretty difficult. Like, I'll just show you how to do one. First, you drop your thing with a green screen background in it. We'll use this video of a cat for reference. Second, you go into Fusion. Next, you right click on the little grid thing. Then click Add Tool, click Matte, then click Delta Keyer. Now, this is the hardest part. You drag these little arrows on these little box things. Now, if you do this wrong, then it will literally do nothing. And finally, you go to the little color thing and get the dropper thing and cut out the green. See how complicated that is? And this is what I use for making some of the other stuff I mentioned in this video. It was quite difficult at times, but I persevered to make. The Rob Brown video was the first actual project that took me the entire internship to do. This one was probably the biggest learning experience for me. I went into this internship specifically looking to work in the film industry, and I saw what it was like. This video is a pretty good example of like the first actual serious video that I've created. And this was definitely a lot more difficult for me because it was all new to me, because I've never done anything like this before, something professional and something this good. Like, I've never had to do a lot of this stuff. Like, I learned how to organize and cut clips so then they fit the video and actually fit the mood. I had to add music into the background, such as learning like the perfect sound so then it didn't drown out him talking, and also play with the mixing portion of it. The hardest part was probably finding B-roll, because there's a section of the video that is just very difficult to watch and it needed to be covered up, so I had to find something to use as B-roll, and that was probably the hardest part for me, just because that's another thing that I've never had to do before. But the worst thing about this video was trying to go between two different video angles. As I just kind of said, it was kind of the reason that I had to get B-roll, because it was just a really bad look, but the audio was really good on it, so I had to kind of mix them together. So I had to make both of the angles look really good, and I had to match them up in the coloring, and it was definitely an experience, because I've never had to do anything like that before. And once I finished the majority of this video, I learned quite a bit. And this one video definitely made me learn the professional video making process, having to edit, do audio, color correct, make things look better. Those are all jobs like a whole crew would take on, but I learned how to do all of it by myself. Even though it took quite a while, it was still pretty impressive to me that I learned how to do all of it. This was the easiest thing I did during the internship because I already knew how to use Photoshop quite well, but it was a good learning experience for the practical uses of Photoshop. For instance, I went from making things like this for school to something much more real world like this. More pictures like this also went on the Hand Truck website. Another example of this is for a video for a website for a local artist to show his work and make it viewable for more people. This changes a lot. Like, I definitely didn't do anything like this before. And I never thought like making something like my previous works would actually be kind of useful in a real world scenario. Like, I would never know how to do some of the stuff that I'm showing on screen. But yeah, and that's really it about Photoshop. This was a very brief overview of my internship experiences. I didn't want to drag this short overview on too long. These are the main projects that I did, and some of the other things I did make up of these. Camera work, here's some pictures of it. Writing a script for this video, which I don't like doing. That's like the one part of videos I don't like doing. The Annie Oakley video, part of the Photoshop section, but this is actually what it is. Looking for good music to put in videos, and this video. This video was quite a bit of work. Overall, it was very fun and informative. I would recommend it to anyone that wants to learn more about the video editing process. You can even learn some other things like Photoshop and maybe even website building, which I didn't get to do, but other people did. Both Photoshop and website building can be used in other jobs that can get you further in life. To reiterate, this is a good learning experience for both the pacing and knowledge of anything having to do with video editing, Photoshop, and websites.